Welcome back, Curry Crew. This week we have a delicious spinach pasta and paneer cutlet recipe for you that is downright amazing. Make sure to punch that notification bell, and without any further ado, let's get started. So what we're going to do is, in order to make our spaghetti with spinach sauce and paneer cutlets, is we're going to be making a bechamel. What is a bechamel? It is a traditional French sauce that is kind of like the mother of all sauces, and it can be used to make queso, gravy, and like a multitude of other sauces. For our purposes, we're doing it to make a basic bechamel and then turn it into our spinach sauce. So all we want to do first is we want to take about a cup and 1/4 cup of milk, and we are going to heat it up very slowly. We only want to warm it up to the point where it becomes lukewarm, so I'm only going to turn up the heat to about low. And I'm going to let the milk over here on the side get to the point where it's lukewarm. Now in our other saucepan, we are going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter, and we are going to make our roux. So what is a roux? Roux is basically the base of a sauce, and it helps a sauce become thick and creamy. So to make our roux, we will take 2 tablespoons of butter and we will add it into our saucepan, which is to the right of our milk. And we will wait for this to melt down because we don't want any lumps in our roux when we add the flour. You want to melt the butter down until it starts looking like it's foaming up at the bottom of the pan and it is bubbling. So we're going to wait for our butter to melt down, and right now we have the heat at about a medium. And we just want to wait until it's ready to go so that we can add in our other ingredients into our saucepan right here. So you can see that the butter is pretty much almost melted. You can use a whisk to basically move it around a little bit and let it melt down a little bit faster. And then once it's melted, what we are going to do is add in our second ingredient of our roux, which is our flour. So we are going to start with 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and we are going to add it into our saucepan with our butter. And once we add in our flour, what we are going to do is we're going to whisk it together and we're going to cook out our flour. The reason we want to cook out the flour is because uncooked flour can give you salmonella, and we want to avoid getting sick when eating pasta, because trust me, it is not fun to basically throw up all over your plate. So once our roux is ready, what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in our warm milk. So we are only going to add it in a little bit at a time. So we're just going to add in 2 or 3 spoonfuls at a time because we don't want to add in too much. And then you want to just use your whisk and continuously whisk in the milk so that it becomes a sauce. So you want to just keep adding it little by little and then just keep whisking it with your other hand until it becomes a sauce. And then you have to keep going until you've added in all of your milk. And once you add in all your milk, then you want to just whisk it again one more time until you get a creamy sauce. And you want to just keep going until you want to make sure that you have no more lumps of flour or any flour sticking to the side of the pan. We're going to add in a little bit of pepper afterwards, and we're going to add in a little bit of salt as well. Both are to taste. And then we're going to also add in a little bit of red chili powder to give it a little heat. And again, you're going to keep mixing it in until all your seasonings are in there. You should have a gravy-like consistency, and your sauce should look very creamy and thick. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make our spinach sauce now. So in order to make our spinach sauce, what I did was I blanched some spinach. And basically you want about a cup of spinach, and in order to get a cup of spinach after blanching, you want to take about 3 cups of uncooked spinach, and you want to basically put it in some boiling water. And then let it basically shrink down to where it equaled 1 cup. And then you want to transfer it to an ice water bath. We're going to drop that into our blender. And then we're also going to add in 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And we are just going to let it all mix together. And then we're going to add in our bechamel that we made also. Next, what we want to do is we want to blend it up, and it should look like a creamy green sauce. And you can always add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. You always want to taste your sauces beforehand before adding too much seasoning. And then now that your sauce is done, we're going to move on to our patties, and then we're going to do our spaghetti after. So in order to make our patties, we're going to take 1/2 block of paneer and we're going to shred it up into a mixing bowl. And to this, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. The reason we want to add in 2 tablespoons of flour is because it will be our binding agent that will help make our paneer cutlets. So we're just going to add those into the mixing bowl right here. Next, we're gonna add in about half a tablespoon of coriander chutney. And we're also gonna take a piece of bread, soak it in about a tablespoon of plain yogurt, and we're gonna add that into our mixture as well. And we're also gonna add in 1 chopped green chili into our dough mixture. Then we're gonna add in a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And then we're just gonna start kneading this down until it becomes kind of like a dough. And then you can use that dough to form your cutlets. Now our cutlets, you can form them into little balls or a little disc, and you can just saute it on a little frying pan to the side, and you want to just get it black on both sides, not to the point where it's burned, but to the point where you have a little bit of a crispy edge on both sides of your cutlet. So this is what our cutlets are going to look like. We've transferred them to a plate, and now we're going to start making our spaghetti. So you want to make sure that you cut up some onions to use. You're going to cry a little bit because they do bully you, you know, but when you cut them up, they can't bully you anymore. So just don't let the onions bully you. We're going to take also a clove of garlic, and we're going to chop it up into little tiny pieces. And we're going to saute basically our garlic and our onions in our saucepan, and we are going to use that to mix it in with our spaghetti and our sauces. So you just want to add your garlic into the pan with a little bit of butter or ghee or oil, whatever you want to use. And then you want to just saute it to the point where it's a little bit brown on the garlic. And trust me guys, sauteed garlic smells amazing. And then what we're going to do next is we are going to add in our onions into this mixture. And you're going to also add in a little bit more butter so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the saucepan. And you want to then add in your spaghetti. And you want to basically just mix it all together. And we're also going to add in our spinach sauce that we made earlier. Next, we're just going to mix it all together until you have all of the spaghetti coated with the sauce. And you also want to make sure that all your onions and garlic are not left at the bottom of the pan. You want it throughout your spaghetti. We're going to then transfer this spaghetti into a non-stick bowl, or you can also take a regular baking tray and butter it all around so that it doesn't stick. And you want to just transfer all of your spaghetti into that bowl. Next, we're going to take our cutlets, and we're basically just going to layer them all over the top of our pasta dish. So next, we're going to take whatever type of shredded cheese you like, whether it's pepper jack, mozzarella, and we're just going to sprinkle it over the top of our spaghetti. And then we're going to put it in the oven. The oven has already been preheated to about 400 degrees, and we're going to bake it for about 12 to 15 minutes. So now we're going to take over our dish over to the oven, we're going to bake it, and we're going to see you soon. Guys, this dish was fantastic. After tasting it, I was left speechless. Literally, I could not say a word except for basically give a kiss to the camera because of how good this dish turned out to be. And I can't wait for you guys to try new recipes of ours, so stay tuned till next time.